I'm also off immune suppressants. She said, you're off immune suppressants? You took yourself off? I said, well, not myself, with Dr. So-and-so. And then she said, if you don't take your meds, you're non-compliant and I can't see you as a patient again. And then I said, okay.
Bye.
Bye, Felicia.
That's Roxana Soetebeer. She takes us through her weight loss journey of 115 pounds. She's still going, by the way. She's experienced so many health benefits already. She is so inspiring despite the years and years of getting caught up in a vicious cycle of certain medications. So I guess you can say it's not just a weight loss journey, a medication journey as well. You'll see. Please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and share. Enjoy.
So the health accomplishments meant that I was really sick before I started keto. So what I had established NASH. NASH is non-alcoholic fatty liver that's inflamed. It's non-alcoholic steatohepatitis. So that's one step short of cirrhosis. And then the next step is liver cancer. And there's no pill against that. The doctor said just don't eat red meat, don't drink alcohol, don't take Tylenol, but nothing really other than monitoring it. Then I developed type 2 diabetes, which was probably, well, there can be many reasons, insulin resistance, statins, all that. But I was on insulin, long-acting insulin, and my A1C kept climbing all the way to 8.5. And that's really high. That's, 6.4 and up is full-blown type 2 diabetes. I was at 8.5. Mm-hmm. I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis when I was in my mid-20s. It was a misdiagnosis. It is actually palindromic arthritis, which is different and also needs to be treated differently. But they put me on an immune suppressant, Imuran, and because it has a high initial dose, and then they forgot to taper down that dose to maintenance, I took it for 15 years. So I think that really shot my liver and all the medications. It's like it was one big mess. Then, of course, my stomach got upset, so I developed GERD, and it was just one big mess.
And then on top of the medicines, your food at the time, basic everyday kind of diet?
Well, I tried vegetarian for a while, and actually more to please my father, because he said, you can't eat meat. And then I said, oh, okay, I'm not going to eat meat. But that really wasn't sustainable. And I like meat. So this is the one good thing. I always liked meat. And then I tried Weight Watchers. And there was a little disheartening when I lost weight every week. And 1 week I gained 0.2 pounds or so. And she asked me, what do you think went wrong this week? And I never went back, which was good in hindsight, because the program is just fancy calorie counting.
Abusive.
And then I tried Jenny Craig.
So you just didn't have a bowel movement that day and you got...
Yeah, I might have also had a glass of water. I don't know. Maybe I wore a different sweatshirt. I really don't know. Maybe that happened. And so I tried Jenny Craig. I think Jenny Craig, I heard in the news, is out of business now, or they're shutting down stores. So I didn't confirm it, but anyway, so that's a good step. There's another service that sends meals out. The newest one is Noom. I never tried that because at that time I already knew it's just another deal of fancy calorie counting. No, my diet was I dieted, and then I stopped dieting, and then I dieted again, where I thought I was eating healthy, like healthy whole grains, lots of fruits. So my diet was, for example, a big fruit smoothie every morning. And that was a banana, like a handful of other fruit, a handful of spinach, some kefir, and I think some type of seeds, chia seeds or something. So that was my smoothie. It was loaded with sugar, loaded. I
But
didn't
you
add
felt
any.
so good because you're doing something healthy for yourself, right?
Oh yes, it felt good. I gave it to my kids too,
Me
and
too.
I actually did lose weight because I didn't eat the junk food,
Good.
but I got hungrier and hungrier. So at some point I thought, okay, I lost 20, 30 pounds, and now is it really worth it? You keep thinking to yourself, I mean, if you hold your breath, after a while you think, is it worth holding your breath any longer? Oh no, it's not.
Oh, nicely put.
And so when the hunger gets too much, that's a survival mechanism. You can't override it after a while. And into that place, of course, carb addiction, or sugar addiction, flour addiction. So I yo-yo dieted my way all the way to my top, which I always give as plus 300. So it was over 300. And then when with NASH, and I never really questioned any of it, like being on insulin, being on all those medications, the handful of medications every day. I never questioned that. And then my sugar levels went up. So with an A1C of 8.5, you can imagine like where the average is, but all the way it went up to the high 400s for a week straight. So I basically decompensated. The body gave up.
Not more.
And being that high, I knew that was dangerous. My son is type 1 diabetic. I knew I had to do something, and the long-acting insulin didn't work. So I borrowed some, and woke up in the middle of the night and borrowed some Humalog, and then did this calculation in my brain that like at almost 500 wasn't really working well. And
yeah, don't take medicine when you're not feeling when you can't think.
I was completely confident. I calculated the dose, I injected the insulin, and then that confidence just dissipated. And so it was like 3 a.m. I called a friend in Germany, and he was on his morning commute to work. And he said, don't go to sleep. Let's calculate. And he said, my dose was probably right, but don't go to sleep. Check every half hour and watch Dr. Stephen Phinney. And that was my turning point. I found just the right video. It was a 2-part lecture, so 2 hours. It kept me up at night, and not in the sense that it kept me up like a nightmare, but it made all sense. Suddenly I knew, okay, this is not my fault. I didn't get myself into the mess. I got really, really bad advice. So I watched that, and I said, like, next morning to my husband and said, I'm doing keto. And he was like, no, you're not. We're going to ask your doctor first. And I said, with this behind my back, I will. And so my plan was actually, if she would say no, I would go to the next, until I find one. But I didn't have to. I printed out a stack of studies to bring to her and said, I want to go keto. And she said, fantastic, I'm doing keto too. And so that was that.
That's wonderful. Well, it's not wonderful that it took you that long to find something that helped you, because apparently it helped you. So how did it help you?
So NASH, this liver thing, was diagnosed with a biopsy.
Past fatty liver.
Oh yeah, that's past fatty liver. So there's alcoholic fatty liver and non-alcoholic fatty liver. And now, because everyone's obese, most of the people have non-alcoholic fatty liver. And NASH is non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, which means it's inflamed non-alcoholic fatty liver. It's a bad situation. And it was diagnosed with a biopsy. So it was a valid diagnosis with lab values, ultrasound, and all that stuff. And the reversal was confirmed with, the complete reversal was confirmed with lab values, ultrasound, and a fibroscan. They didn't want to do another biopsy because it has risks. And it wasn't necessary.
The confirmation must have felt so good. But you were probably checking your blood sugars? while
We
you
were in the
switched?
middle of COVID, and I wanted to hug this guy who did but then I would hug you, but I can't. Ugh. But I was
Which guy?
the one that did the FibroScan, because
Oh,
I knew the numbers that I needed to reach, and I was like, my numbers were perfect.
oh, I'm so happy for you. Wow. So when you were younger, how would you you didn't have a weight problem when you were younger. It was what, the
No.
medications, do you believe?
I'm not sure what started it. I think the inflammation started it. So when I was young, I was very athletic. I did Taekwondo. And in high school, I actually did 2 sports courses because I just couldn't get enough.
Wow.
And I was always normal weight, and I was always healthy too. So when you go to the doctor, you check those. I have this, hypertension, diabetes, whatever you have. And I could leave everything unchecked. And I kind of was
Nice.
proud of that because I wasn't sick.
Yeah.
And then that changed.
And then you had some inflammation. What was that like? What were your symptoms in your 20s?
So mid-20s, I started, my knees started swelling. And then I thought, okay. And then they swelled so much that I couldn't make my legs straight anymore. So then the hands started swelling, and then the feet started swelling, the ankles, and it was so painful that I could hardly walk. And that happened like in a matter of 1 or 2 months. And
wow.
then just before that happened, I started gaining weight. So a month before, I all of a sudden put on the weight, and then the inflammation started showing. So I think the inflammation was probably the cause, but the weight gain showed earlier.
Those were, I'm not diagnosing here, but those were the exact symptoms I had in my 40s, about 42, when I had hypothyroid after a life of hyper. All of a sudden, weight came on, inflammation, the feet, my whole body, I felt inflamed. It was crazy. So then they put you on medication, and you had the trials and tribulations of those symptoms. I mean, side effects.
Yeah, that came later. The thyroid, I actually don't have a recollection, because she just all of a sudden started prescribing Synthroid. So I don't know exactly when that happened.
Yeah.
But I've been on it forever. She said, you have Hashimoto, you need that. And that was that. But the inflammation, like the weight gain, was so sudden. I gained like the first 20 pounds came on just like that. And then I gained more and more and more. And this weight gain was so sudden that I bumped into things because I wasn't used to my body shape.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Your
So
whole
this was like,
perception was off. Like,
it
that was my
had
butt that just
nothing
did
to
that.
do with overeating. It had nothing to do with I don't know, being a couch potato. So then the same was with the statins. There was no discussion. She just looked at my lab values, and then I was on a statin. So what this all led to was just getting sicker and sicker and sicker, and me being the good patient, just accepting one pill after the other, the insulin, no
It's just my
problem.
destiny.
So
all that time, they never did ask what you ate. I mean, they wouldn't even know what to tell you to eat anyway, but they never asked anything about your lifestyle.
They said you should eat the Mediterranean diet. You should concentrate on whole
foods,
like grains, all that. But they never said avoid carbs. I mean, it's ridiculous. A type 2 diabetic they recommend 130 grams of carbs for a person that is carbohydrate intolerant.
I did it myself. I'm sorry.
I know. Oh, yeah.
Did
But
you
I was
see
so
dietitians?
angry. I was so angry. I was so angry at first for getting sick. Like how unfair is that?
Why
Like,
me?
am I being ripped out of this life and being dealt these cards? And then, like, over time, I thought you can be angry or you can just accept it. So I switched to accepting it, and with the acceptance came I need this pill, sure. I need this insulin, sure. I need this, I need this. And I never question it, because these doctors, they're like over humans. Like they're
It's what they do. They
gods
should
and right.
know. So when you were dealing with the side effects, you just thought it was, this is the way my life is, this is the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
So you felt basically like that until your friend told you to look up the Phinney video?
Yeah, well, basically, just before I like this week of the high 400s, I had this thought, this, I don't know if it was an epiphany. I just all of a sudden knew, if I continue this way, I'm gonna live for 3 more years max.
That was your teachable moment right there. Like,
It was,
shit,
I just knew it. It
I
like
gotta do
when you
something.
know, if I jump off the building, I'll die. I knew if I continue like this, I'll be dead in 3 years. I knew it. And that's when I thought also I need the insulin, which I did. And then I called my friend, and then I had the solution.
So you use the insulin because you're having a medical emergency, and then you educated yourself. But that teachable moment, that was a teachable moment, a sugar of 400.
That was like a wake-up call. Yes, you can call it a teachable moment, or like a slap in the gut. I don't know. Yeah.
So what did you do after watching the Phinney video, Dr. Phinney?
So with the blessing of my doctor, I went to a nutrition coach and said, you offer keto, so I want guidance with keto. And I went to him before, and I lost weight and gained weight like over the years, like. But I thought I'm gonna give the keto thing a try, because keto before was for me like a red. It was a no-no, because everyone knows keto is dangerous. Everyone knows it will give you heart disease and kidney disease, and you'll die. It's just a temporary fix, but you cannot do it forever.
She's being sarcastic, by the way.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So I could like put my filter clown mask on, but you know, I never ever considered keto. I had heard about it, and then also with my son being type 1 diabetic, I was very vocal about, no, you cannot put your kids on keto. It will stunt their growth, their brain won't develop, all these things that are complete lies.
I used
But
to say that. I used to say it's very
it.
acidic. I'm sorry, I talked over you.
Yeah, no, but yes, all these things, they're complete lies. You see these kids
It's
on
ignorance.
keto, they thrive. No, it's more than ignorance. It is lies. People are being lied to, and they take their health away. They take their right to happiness away. It's I'm so angry about that. It's good that I'm a mellow person, but it's so aggravating. So I have a beef with a few people, and I probably need to learn how to get over that.
You're passionate, and that's going somewhere. But before I get to where that's going and what you're doing with that passion, can we learn about what you might eat in a day?
So what I usually eat is I almost every day I skip breakfast. Maybe a little background. When I was 7 months into keto, I did get my A1C down to 5.2, and I was like happy about that, but I couldn't get off insulin. And so I thought, what's the big deal? And then I learned, as long as you're insulin resistant, and when you're on insulin, you are, as long as you're insulin resistant, like the damage continues. Well, that wasn't good. And then I looked, and that's when I found Dr. Fung. And I saw this series. He has a 6-part series on the etiology of obesity. And I watched that 6 hours, every minute, birth and go. Like he explained how the sugar is being shoved into the cells, and how when you constantly eat, your insulin is constantly elevated. And what you need to do is just stop eating.
Give your cells a flip and rest.
Yeah. So I thought intermittent fasting was stupid, starving. who would do that? Like, it's stupid.
I
But then
used
I
to
thought, oh,
think the same
this
thing.
might be my solution. So I stopped breakfast, and I was already fat adapted, so it was really no big deal. I
Oh
stopped
yeah,
breakfast.
that helps.
I stopped snacking, and I didn't eat after, I think I ate between 1 p.m. and 9 p.m., which was still a big window. And in 2 weeks, I was off insulin.
In
It was
2
only
weeks just from not having breakfast
just for not having
and
breakfast,
snacks.
skipping breakfast and not snacking. I still ate what I ate before. I was on 50 units insulin, and then I was off insulin.
You mean it's not about calories?
Oh, let me think. No, it's not about calories.
No. So you ate the
Calorie is a
same
measure of
food.
energy. We don't
This
eat
is
calories.
smaller window, less insulin exposure. So there was what kind of foods do you enjoy eating this way?
So I'm a meat eater. I have a freezer full of beef. I bought first a quarter cow and then now half a cow. It's from a farmer I know. The cows
Oh,
graze
that's
until they are
lovely.
like a month or two before they are slaughtered. They just graze on the pasture, and then they get some grain fed to mobilize the meat. It's, if I could get grass finished, I might, and then I might not like the taste and go back to grain finished. So I'm happy with grain finished. Yeah, it's
You're
cheaper
doing
than the grocery store. It's always there. It's I call it my convenience food, because I just open the freezer,
so
put it in the
convenient.
Ninja, and then it's cooked.
So
I love them
how much did
scrambled.
you lose again?
So I lost, I don't want to give away how much I weighed, but I lost about 115 pounds.
115?
Mhm.
And how tall are you?
I'm 5'6". I think I shrunk a little.
Girl, do that. Raise your hand and do this.
Oh, nothing I did
yeah.
wrong. It's something that was missed by my doctors. There was my hypothyroidism. And I'm that's another thing I'm really mad about. I've been under doctor's care since I was like mid-20s, 25 or so. And I have been on medication for Hashimoto. And my readings were in range, but I didn't feel well. So I said I want to switch to natural thyroids. And after a long discussion, I was thought, okay, and then we see how your readings go. And then they were checked. And I was under-medicated. I should have had a higher dose, but that was never followed up on.
And
so 8
when you're
months
under,
ago,
oh, go ahead, sorry.
yeah, 8 months ago, I was at, so the critical low cutoff is 0.5, and I was 0.65. So I was like really low. In hindsight, I don't know how I kept my eyes open. I was still enthusiastic about this journey, and so many good things happened. And I get feedback in my group. It's I wouldn't say like that, but it's I could overplay the symptoms of being tired. I could just blend that out. And then I got the virus. And then that stopped. I couldn't compensate it anymore. So I got so tired at moments that I thought I was going to vomit. I was so tired that I thought, if I go to sleep now, I'm not going to wake up.
Ooh.
I was tired to the bones. And then my arthritis started flaring up again. And then I said, okay, I'm going to take my readings, the CRP and everything, before I go on cortisone again. And then I saw again this really low value. And then I said, okay, like, could this be the problem? And then I asked ChatGPT, what's the connection here? Low thyroid and inflammation. And, you see the blinking, and then, yep, there's a connection between low T4 and flares, like inflammatory flares.
Oh,
I said, oh, wow, okay. Actually, this followed like a short conversation about T4 and arthritis, and all of a sudden, like, I thought, like, ask this. And then I had my answer. And then I said, list studies. The studies, the titles are good, the links are not good. But I couldn't find it online. And I thought, that's amazing. Like, do I have to get my thyroid in range? I would feel better anyway. And that would take off out my flares. And then I tweeted about that on Twitter, and they said, oh, did you know low T4 also raises LDL, raises triglycerides, and lowers HDL? And I said, really? Like, back to ChatGPT. Oh, yes, sure. Here's the why. So the LDL goes up because the T4 suppresses the building of LDL receptors on the liver. So you have less LDL receptors, so the LDL goes up. And there's some other mechanism why the triglycerides go up. They shouldn't go up in a person that is doing very low carb keto. They shouldn't. But in my case, sometimes they were like great, and sometimes they were up. And the HDL, mine wasn't really low, but it was around like 50. So it wasn't also super good. And it should have been better with the way I was eating. And so there's my answer. And
when did you get that answer?
I think a week ago. That's brand new. This is the thing that I'm focusing on right now. I'm now going to keep tabs on having my labs checked. If I can't get it from the doctor prescribed, I'm not going to run after her. I'm just going to order them through Own Your Labs.
On your labs, yeah.
Yeah, the Dave Feldman and
good girl.
Yeah, they're awesome. They make it so easy. And
so easy.
I don't
That's
have to.
That's the way it should be.
That's the way it should be, yes.
Yeah, I remember getting some blood work done a few years ago, and I wanted to know what it was. It was blocked on the patient portal. That's why you have the patient portal, so you can see your stuff. Oh no, you have to come in yet before we make it live. They're holding my blood captive. Like, I promise I'll come to see you, but I'd really like this for my other doctor I have to go see. They're holding my labs captive.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you, Dave Feldman and Sabone Huggins. Am I saying that right, Higgins?
I honestly, I think it's Shaban Huggins.
Shaban Higgins? Huggins. She's
awesome. She talks about lipedema and all that stuff.
I love her.
Extremely smart.
Oh, they all are.
These two guys,
so lucky,
that they found to and work together, it's a blessing for all of us.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So when you made this change, how did your husband deal with your change? Did you start making everything different at dinner? Are you the cook? Are you the main cook?
No, I'm not the cook. I don't cook.
Oh, so how did you said, I want to eat this?
No, yeah, either I say I want to eat this, and then he would or would not cook it. Like I would then make my own meals. So I don't expect him to cook for me. But if I had a low carb like chili meal, then he can cook it for the entire family, and then I would eat it too. But if he made a pasta casserole, I was just not eating it.
That
and
takes some
no exceptions.
How did you do that? You ate enough fat, enough protein. How did you handle that? They're eating all that in front of you.
I was from experience of the yo-yo diet. So I lost so much pounds. Like then I did the celebration, a piece of cake or something. And really after that piece of cake, and this falls into sugar addiction, I could not continue. It was impossible to continue with the diet. I relapsed. And so there's the hunger thing, which made me more and more susceptible to not wanting to do it. And then there was the kick, the sugar kick that took away, I won't even say willpower, like it took away any resolve. And so I was afraid. I knew it. I knew if I make one exception, I'm going to be off the trail and off the wagon, like set it on fire, not just for a week or a month, but for years. And so I can't make exceptions. It's something I just can't.
do you eat more similar now?
No.
Yeah,
I
I'll
just
feel bad because I'm halfway there, but my husband doesn't eat completely like me either.
no, and it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, I said I'm not a cook, but I
We're
actually now
our own people.
created a few recipes just for myself, which tastes fantastic. And they're also so easy to make. And what he does sometimes is he even like prepares it so that I just have to cook it.
Oh,
And
that's nice. Yeah, because I think
yes, he is nice.
a lot of people believe that if your loved one doesn't do what you do, that that's sabotage. Now, there are some people that
No.
do sabotage. I mean, they'll eat your favorite thing as you're sitting there, knowing that you're addicted to it. They'll eat it right in front of you. But there's some people that just throw up their hands because they think, well, if they're not going to do it, I won't survive this. But your story helps them see that it's possible. Do you think it
Yeah.
was also maybe what you were eating that helped you withstand some of the temptation?
So for me, it was mostly the fear that if I slipped once, kind of in moderation or whatever
Oh,
you call it,
so it was
the reward.
emotional. Huh.
Yeah, if I slipped once, I knew I was not gonna be able to continue. The one thing I asked him to do was at night not eat chips or like anything like when we watch TV, not eat those junk foods, and he didn't. And now it doesn't that doesn't even bother me. But in the
Good.
beginning, it would have bothered me, and now it doesn't bother me anymore.
Wow. Because you're so much more metabolically healthy.
Yes, and also my mindset shifted.
Do you see them separate? I see them as the same, like or similar. I see them as they're so influential upon each other. But you have some strong will there. It's from your training, from your
No, it's
calories
not
in,
will.
calories out training.
No, it's not willpower. It's this is what I think. Willpower gets us going. So willpower is what, like, for the first maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. This is willpower, and we need it because we need to overcome the cravings. And you can have a good reason, and you can be in pain, and you can see some benefits, but you need some willpower. But once the initial pain goes down, like for example for me, lying on the side and not being able to fall asleep because I couldn't breathe right, that was a pain. And once I could breathe okay, that pain was gone. And then you ask yourself, oh, do I really need to continue this, or am I good now? And so this is when the willpower goes away, and then you need to be in the right state of mind to continue. And basically my mantra is, nothing tastes as good as healthy feels.
Yep.
I never ever want to feel sick again. I just don't. I had it.
What are other things that you experienced before you started eating in a keto way? Like, did
I
you ever
was
have brain fog or anything like that?
yes, the brain fog. I was unhappy. I like I had my children, and of course I was happy having them. They were well behaved. They were just genuinely good kids.
Oh,
I was lucky that I wasn't cursed with brats.
they have your
And
disposition. They're your children.
yeah, I also put them in martial arts. That teaches them a lot. And but I wasn't happy. I loved watching them doing martial arts. My heart bled a little because I wanted to be there too. But watching them was just great. And but that was I didn't have a joyful life. I had like we had several things in the past that were very traumatic, like life altering, kind of traumatic. And I just could never get over that. And switching to keto is like a light switch was flipped.
Wow.
I'm now looking into the future. I'm looking to, like, I love helping people. It's just so fulfilling. It's a whole new purpose. Before, okay, I had my kids. I need to bring them up. I need to get them going. But then I thought I'm just going to die early anyway, the untimely death
Oh my
when
God.
you eat keto. You know, no, but really, I was just in a very unhappy place, and that changed. I have purpose. I know what I want to do, and I fully intend to make the most of my lifespan,
Yeah.
which is
I
I
love it.
learned from Dr. Berry.
So
he recommended this book.
who?
Dr. Berry, he recommended this book. I think it's called Power, Sex, and Suicide. And it's not what you think from the title. It's about mitochondria. So, and cells and cell death and all this. But it explained basically, one of the points was that the lifespan is hard-coded into the DNA. And I thought, okay, that's weird. But
The
of course,
what?
the lifespan is hard-coded into the DNA. So we have a certain lifespan, like let's say 90 years. But you can really shorten your life expectancy
Oh yeah.
to 70 or 60 or 50.
Especially the health expectancy, right?
Just by eating a shitty diet. So now that I'm switched my diet, I know there's some damage I did, but I'm fully expecting to go to 100 or beyond.
I'm an optimist as well.
No more 3 years. Yes, I'm an optimist. Like
Yeah, you are.
an educated optimist, because I know why.
Yeah. So
Maybe I should call
passion.
myself the evolved optimist.
Yeah. So this passion, where are you taking it?
So for myself, I self-teach myself a lot of things, like internet programming, all that. I just I'm an autodidact. And so I started taking nutrition network courses.
Yep.
And that led me to watching these videos, these video lectures. And then I had these low carb conferences. And then I learned, if I just collect enough of these, I can become a metabolic health practitioner. And I thought, okay, that's awesome, because now I can put behind my name, Roxana Soetebeer, MHP. So people often say, are you a doctor? No, I'm not a doctor, but I am a metabolic health practitioner. So that led me to, they have another accreditation program. It's Nutrition Network Coach accreditation. It doesn't give me extra letters behind my name, but it gives me extra knowledge and extra, it makes me a better coach. Yeah. And so I'm going to go down that road. I'm probably going to do the primal coaching course as well. Wonderful. And I wanted to do the dietetics route. And I asked them what happens. I wanted the certification, you know, the letters. I asked them, what happens if I teach keto? And they say, we're going to yank your license before you can blink.
Yep.
And then I said, okay, I'm not going to do that.
So you don't teach keto, you teach individualized therapeutic regulation as needed.
I know, but I don't want that.
Don't go that route.
Yeah.
It'll cause you so much anger and anguish. Now you do what you want, but I will tell you, it'd be really hard. I think about going back to medical or going to medical school all the time. But the anger, I don't know if I can be patient enough. I could never write a script for a certain medication. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I'd probably get kicked out.
People ask me, why are you so fixated on keto? And why don't you do like give advice on Mediterranean diet? Like, I cannot in clear conscience tell someone to eat grains. It's not healthy. It's not ancestrally appropriate. Humans only started developing all these diseases when grains were introduced. We know that. So I'm going with a proper human diet, like what humans should eat. I will not recommend anything else.
You go, girl. Hold your ground. So where can we find you on social media?
So social media, I have my Facebook group, Reversing Insulin Resistance. Then I have my Twitter account. The handle, you can put it in the show notes. But they can just look up my name, Roxana Soetebeer.
Yep.
Then I have my website for the coaching, which is kendo-keto.com. And the website I did first, the website I did first was reversing-insulin-resistance.com. And on that webpage, there's like a ton of information. There are recipes, there are there's the link to the Facebook group, to Twitter. There's the link to the coaching website. Nice. On that page, reversing-insulin-resistance.com. That's where you can find everything.
You have quite a large group, don't you?
Yes, the group is, I think, like 2 years old now, and we grew to about 12,000 members.
12,000?
Yeah, people really are interested. They want to learn, and it's a very active group. Like most groups on Facebook, I see declining, but this group is growing exponentially. It's and they're getting good advice too.
Do you ever see health practitioners on there asking questions?
Well, I'm sometimes in discussions with doctors, but usually the doctors who are in the group are they are pro keto. So they're already there because they want to argue. And I'm honestly in the group on Twitter, I argue. In the group, I don't want to argue. If someone says go vegan, they're out. I don't have time for that. I want to help the people who want help, and I don't want to argue with people who don't want help. On Twitter, I can just not respond, and in the group, that's not an option because they can poison other people, and I won't have that. They can do their own things and poison people.
You could be a vegetarian, a successful vegetarian keto person?
I think vegetarian may be depending on how metabolically sick you are. One guy on Twitter, he said, there was some discussion, and I said, all this drama because I decide to eat meat for my health. And then he said, you are raping toddler-like creatures and slashing their throats. That's your choice.
Yeah.
An emergency room doctor, like that disconnect. And
yeah, I mean, what's crazy is, I mean, I have pets. I love them to death. But I watch the Animal Planet, and I do not get upset. I don't like watching it, but I understand when the lion kills for food. I understand it. I don't like it either. I would love to be healthy, not having to eat.
That's their diet. That's what they have to eat.
It's how we were made.
Go ahead. Don't eat meat, but don't call me things that I'm not. Yeah. And don't put don't impose your will onto mine.
Yeah.
Do what you want, just leave me alone. I don't have a gripe with vegans. I just don't want them imposing on my lifestyle.
Yeah. 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 What do you think about Beyond Meat?
It's toxic sludge. It's just the thing that they, so in some European countries, they cannot call like oat milk anymore. Good. They just say oat and leave out the word milk, and it's in a milk carton, so it still implies it's milk. But there were like infants were almost died because the vegan moms thought, I'm just going to give them almond milk. And it is not milk. It is not milk. It doesn't have any of the property of milk. Well, it's white. Okay. And it's liquid. Okay. But it doesn't have any of the nutritional profile an infant needs. And so plant-based butter is another one. It's not butter. It's engine lubricant. It's not butter.
I'm terrified that since the Beyond Meat market isn't soaring like they expected, that they're going to start pushing it on schools, hospitals, and jails. I'm really, I expect that.
Yeah. Like with the Nutri-Score system, I think. Like they are already implementing it in one country in hospitals, I think, as a pilot. I cannot imagine how people get to these ideas or fight for these ideas without like being hugely compensated for it.
So what else is next for you? You might do the coaching. Any health goals besides getting that thyroid in shape?
Yeah, so the health goal is to lose more weight. And then when it's kind of like being impeded, of course, by the thyroid. It's also impeded by the fact that I have lipedema. So that makes weight loss a whole lot more difficult.
Sure.
But keeping on track is the goal, and not getting sick again and losing the weight. But for my future, I want to push the coaching. I already do coach clients, but I want to make it now actually into a business.
You're gonna do fantastic.
Yeah, I want to I would love to coach groups. I would love to make this bigger and bigger. So the more people I reach, the more people I can help.
Cool. Okay, I have my last question for you. Are you ready for this? There's 3
Okay.
foods you can bring to an island. What would they be? Hunt for.
Hunt for. Okay. So I can't bring a freezer. Okay. Well, obviously beef. So if I had to pick one part of the beef, it would be, or it's not really part, but it would be hamburger, because that's like the easiest to make. The next one, eggs. It's got to be eggs and beef. And now I would have a hard time deciding between butter and bacon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, 4 things, 4 things.
My problem was that I had given up hope. I tried everything. I tried following the advice, blah, 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 but nothing worked. And I was just getting sick and sick and sicker. So at some point, you just become tone deaf. You lose hope. And that video by Dr. Phinney, that gave me back hope. So people, if you're hopeless, there is hope. Like, watch this video, watch my comparison pictures, read stories on the internet, there on Twitter, and in my group, there's so many people who have become better, who were in a far worse spot than I was, like, believe it or not, but I was in a bad spot. So my silver lining I take from that is, because I had all this trauma, all this damage, all these diseases, I cannot say there's something good about it, but there is actually silver lining. I gained knowledge, and I can use this knowledge to help others. And I can show that you can get yourself out, because it's not your fault that you got sick, but it's your problem, and you need to do something. So that I would like to share.
Thank you so much, Roxana. You're going to help so many people. Just thank you for being you. You're a beautiful person, beautiful soul, and I can't wait to see more of you.
Thanks.